Hello, everyone. Good evening if you're joining us from the US, and good morning if you're joining in from my part of the world. My name is Ranjita Jayurkar, and I'm in Bangalore, India, and I'm the social media manager of the NVC Academy. I will be in conversation in a bit. We're going to have us at our upcoming NVC conference. We'll speak more about that in a bit. For now, what we're going to be talking about is how we can bring NVC as a practice into our lives. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for Eric and Rodger to join me. Meanwhile, hello, Ella, Millicent, hello. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to share where you're joining us from, how you're doing, we would love to hear from you. So Eric, I'm seeing your request and I'm accepting it. It might take a couple of moments for Instagram to let you in. And Rodger, if you're watching this, I've sent you an invite as well. Eric, could you try sending me a request again? Hi, Natalie. Thank you for joining us. We will soon be in conversation with Eric and Rodger, both of whom are NVC certified trainers and will be trainers at our upcoming NVC conference. Hi, Eric. Good
Hi,
evening
Ranjitha. Can you
to
hear
you.
me? Good evening.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. So I'm
Excellent.
trying to get Rodger on.
Yes, I think he'll be here any second.
Hi, Bhuvi. Hi, Animol. So,
So,
Eric, can you tell us where you're joining us from?
yeah, I'm here in Northern California, in Sunnyvale, California, right in the heart of Silicon Valley. And I'm so excited. I so appreciate you, Ranjitha. You set this up, you got us organized, you set the date, you sent us reminders. You said, here's a document to read. And then I read the document, and then you even prepped us with questions. I so appreciate you, Ranjitha. I just love working with you. The
Oh,
Academy is so lucky to have you.
thank you. Thank you. And it's likewise, Eric. I've always enjoyed the sense of lightness when we work together. So I'm glad we get an opportunity to chat here today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad that you like the likeness. Some people don't.
I'd say that's one of the things that first comes to mind about what I enjoy working with you, about what I enjoy about working with you.
Yeah, I made up a joke about vegans the other day. Actually, just today, I was wondering, what vegan cheese is made of. And it's probably, I think, made from the tears of vegans who realize that it doesn't taste, vegan cheese doesn't taste anything like cheese.
Oh, as someone who's as someone who's tasted vegan cheese, I want to say, maybe.
Well, there's an almond mozzarella that I very much enjoy, and then there's a coconut milk cheddar that's made in Canada that I really enjoy. Yeah, so there are some vegan cheeses which get very close, very close.
So I'm seeing a few hearts. I think that might be in response to your joke, Eric.
Oh, God, I hope so. I'm gonna copy this.
So we've temporarily lost Eric, and he'll be back in a moment. For
There
now,
we go. What there? Am I
ah,
back? There we go.
I
Okay.
lost you for a moment, and now you're back. Yes, welcome back. So
Oh,
I'm having trouble adding Rodger here for some reason.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't that interesting? Technology always gets in the way of connection. Well, not always. It's amazing, isn't it? Like all of this technology we got to get used to during COVID. So people who had never been on Zoom, now they can use Zoom, especially the trainers. Now they can use
Yeah.
Zoom. They can make breakout rooms and they can send invites. And I trained a lot of people on Zoom, like and help people update operating. Anyway,
And
so
it's sometimes it's like Zoom has a mind of its own, right?
oh,
Just like
totally.
Instagram does. Like I had to say, I had to say, please, I had to say yes to Rodger's request like 4 times before it allowed him into this live. So, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad you've been able to join us. So hi, Eric, and hi, Rodger. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Roger.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
So today we've got some people who've joined us already. We've got 5 of our followers watching us. And those of you who are watching, if you want to share where you're joining us from, please leave a comment. And if you have any questions for Rodger and Eric, please share them as well. We'll take them during the conversation. So this conversation is about how we can integrate NVC as a practice in our lives. And Rodger and Eric, of course, are both certified trainers, and they're going to be trainers at our upcoming NVC conference. We'll speak about that in a bit. But I think one of the reasons I picked this topic was because I was remembering my early days as an NVC practitioner. And I went to an NVC workshop and I went, oh, of course, this makes so much sense. It's so simple. And then I went back to life and I was like, how does that work now? So I thought it might be interesting to have some insights and reflections from you both about how we can actually start bringing this practice into our lives. One thing I'm always curious about when I meet NVC trainers and practitioners is how you got started. How did you discover NVC and how did you get started with learning NVC? So would you like to share a bit about that? Rodger first.
Sure, I'm happy to. Eric, do you want to go first? Do you want me to?
I'd love for you to go first, Roger. I'm gonna
Okay.
drop the Instagram live and some other people's feeds. So go ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. So I got started way back when, about 1996. My first wife, she wanted me to watch this video of Marshall on NVC, and I was reluctant, and finally I submitted, and I went out and I sat with her, and I didn't even last 3 minutes. It's just like, this was back in the 60s, and Marshall was Rosenberg, who founded, I prefer discovered NVC, but he was practicing poverty back then, and because he did not want to pay taxes to support the Vietnam War. And so consequently, he was, one of the things he would do was give himself his own haircuts. And I think he would just put a bowl on his head and clip, And I didn't know any of this. I thought, oh my God, this guy looking like a convict. I don't care what he's selling. I don't want any. And I left. And so I had a lot of fun sharing that story with Marshall years later. And so it wasn't long after that, though, maybe the following year, that my first wife and I went separate ways, and we uncoupled. And but then I remembered, oh yeah, NVC, that's what she was into. So I just need to go learn that stuff, and then we can use it to patch things up, and we'll be good, okay? And so I just plunged into the books and the tapes. Back then it was cassette tapes, and workshops and trainings, everything I could go to. And finally, she and I went to my first IIT was in '98 in Corona. And we went to that together. And on the way home from that, she says, nothing has changed. I do not want to be in a relationship as a couple with you. Broke my heart, and I also knew it was time for me to move on. Okay, but the connection had been restored. The relationship was continuing to evolve, and we're good friends to this day. She too is now a certified trainer, and one of my favorite trainings that we've ever done is healing the pain of divorce. Yeah, and so actually I was on the phone with her yesterday supporting a training she's doing up the coast from me. Yeah, so that's how I got started.
And that's one story about Marshall I've never heard before.
Right.
Before you answer this question, Eric, I want to take a moment to say hello to the people who've joined us. So I see Pallavi from Bangalore, Azadesim from Kuala Lumpur, and Jer Ceratops, I hope I'm saying that right, says hello. Patrick from Nashville. Mostly Michelle is here as well. So is Belief Mastery, Amber Sigmund, and Melly Bean. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. And if you have questions for Eric or Rodger, share them with us as a comment, and we'll come to them. Eric, over to you. How did you discover NVC?
Yeah, thanks. And I just want to welcome Sharon, who I think is from Australia, and Amber, who I think is now living in, let's see, in Cambodia. I think she's been living in Cambodia, originally from the U.S. And Melly Bean, who's from Toronto. You know what? Lorraine Aguilar is one of the first 200 certified trainers. She really loves Rodger, like I love Rodger. She introduced me to the idea. So I read a third of the book. I watched Marshall's videos, his bootleg videos, and I thought this is the best thing. And I used NVC to manipulate my kids, and it worked great for the most part. I thought I had mastered it. Just so those of you who are new, you're not supposed to use NVC to manipulate anyone. Just to be really clear. And then I thought this is great. It worked for all of these things. But I was miserable in my work, with my partner, with my parents. And I was like, I need to do this. I'm going to go to an NVC intensive training for 9 days. I'm going to come out with these hard skills. I'm going to make $1 million doing mindfulness training using nonviolent communication. Make $1 million. I went into that thing the first night. I was like, and this little woman says to me, she says, conflict is an invitation to connection. I looked down at her with her incredibly clear glasses and her perfectly clear eyes. And I thought, these people are completely crazy. These people are nuts. And then we went down to the circle, and it was all of this meditation and feelings and needs. I was like, holy snot balls. It can't possibly be 9 more days of this. But by the 4th day, it was like, I can't believe there's only 5 days left. Completely transformed my life. And it was 6 months later, I had realized I had not had a nightmare in 6 months. And prior to the IIT, I was having nightmares every night. So it completely transformed my life, And I'm grateful for all the teachers, for the academy, for the opportunities, for Rodger. I've done what I think is a tremendous amount of inner growth, inner work. I'm not sure. I like to tell people when I arrive, I'm like, I finished my inner work. I'm here just to support you. And usually about 1/3 of the people laugh and 2/3 are very confused. So for me, it's just continuous. It's continuous work, and I love it. And I love contributing as best I can. And I love supporting people on their taking self-responsibility for their journey. Because for me, NVC is all inner work with an outer component. And I think that's what things like the conference can really help with, like an international intensive training, like the one we're going to have up here in May in Northern California. If you can do the conference, and I was so lucky that after my international intensive training, I got to go to the conference that Rodger had in Santa Barbara, and I got to meet these amazing people that Rodger had brought together and the certification pod that Rodger got started. And without that pod, without this conference, I probably wouldn't be certified now. Without Rodger, and all the work he's done, I don't think I would be certified now. So I'm so grateful to Rodger and the communities that he's grown, including this conference and the pods. This accompaniment, the support has been amazing. And it really started with the IIT that Rodger organized, and then the conference, which got me the community I needed. And I think that's one of the things that's going to be great that we'll talk about, which is you get to connect with people all over the world, and you can literally call someone. Eventually, you'll be able to call someone anytime, day or night. So yeah, it's changed my life. Is that good enough? Did I win? Do I win?
Yes, you won. Eric, thank you so much for all the appreciation and acknowledgement. Ditto, and back at you. When you came on board the SoCal certification pod and brought your energy and organizational skills and creating the NVC Day 1 and a platform that supported certification candidates have an opportunity to be in front of the camera and present. It was just a huge support for the certification of a whole bunch of trainers now in Southern California. Whereas before, it was like NVC desert. It was like there was no trainers. 40 million people, but no trainers. Yeah, and Now there's, I think I've lost count. I think we're about up to about 8 in the SoCal area. Yeah, and and also I have so enjoyed seeing you step into the role of organizing the international intensive trainings. And the first one you did this last summer, and I got to be part of it. I'm so excited about this new one coming up in this spring. Yeah. So thank you, Regenta.
Yes. So I want to say hello to Melly Bean, who's joining us from Toronto, and Warwick from New Zealand. And we have Maria. Annie is here. I know Annie's from Delhi. And there's Catherine and Valid Outlets. Hello. Thank you for joining us. If you have questions, please share them with us and we'll answer them for you. Thank you for giving me a glimpse of how your NVC journey began. I'm curious about what it was like after your first workshop. What were those first few months or maybe a year or two after you first learned NVC like? How did you start bringing it more into your life?
That was too long ago for me to remember. Honestly, I'm not sure at what point I started doing it, but I've been doing it for over 20 years, and that's my my daily journaling, which I had not done prior to NVC. So, and that has evolved over time. Sometimes it included just focusing on identifying my jackal thinking, all my judgments and all the shoulds I had about others and about myself, and beginning working at translating those. And then another component then I added was gratitude, and just going through my day and listing everything I could think of in terms of needs that had been met and identifying needs, and that really helped me get better connected to my needs and others' needs in present moment. Yeah. So those are. I'm not sure at what point those pieces came in, but to this day I still do my morning journaling. Yeah, that's me.
And was there an aha moment?
Pardon me?
Yeah. Was there an aha moment or a turning point, something you remember? You know, wow, that got me on this track.
Well, you know, the earliest aha moment I can remember is as I'm out there doing an early morning walk before sunrise. It's dark, and I'm going through a neighborhood where the lighting is marginal. And a black cat crossed my path and actually went between my legs as I'm walking at a brisk pace. So it's a smooth, now I think smooth move cat, but back then it scared the shit out of me. I'm like, whoa. And then right after that, I caught that thought that was there. I mean, that the cat brushing up against my bare leg, because I always wear shorts, you know, and getting scared. But that thought that was there, that, you know, the cat shouldn't have done that, and that's what was generating my anger. And so that was the first time that I was able to catch that, and so that was definitely an aha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that connects to what Marshall said about it's always our thinking that causes our anger, not the actions,
Right.
not the actions of someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Warwick in the comments says, 17 years ago at age 22, I watched Marshall's San Francisco workshop DVD set 3 times. It changed my life forevermore. And yeah, I resonate with that because that was one of my first introductions to NVC. Eric, what about you? How did you start bringing NVC into your life? Was there an aha moment you can remember?
I've had so many. I think there's several things that I do. The first is anytime I start to feel any kind of reactivity, I notice body sensations. And my most recent practice is to sit with those and metabolize them as much as I can, switching between the sensations and the feelings. And I try to do that as much as possible before I open my mouth and express. So I try to do, you know, I think Marshall said something like, know what you want before you open your mouth, something like that. And really spend a lot of time with sensations, feelings, needs, and then try to come up with doable requests, either from myself, which is take another few minutes of self-empathy, or a request of the other. And I try to make sure I do the 0 step, which is get to warmth and curiosity. And so that's one piece that's big for me, every day, every minute. And then I also wonder if I'm too sensitive for the world. Maybe I'm too sensitive for the universe. And then the second thing I do is I express gratitude in every conversation. So I love that Rodger's been a great example for journaling, but I have such a hard time. So I try to bring gratitude into every single conversation, as well as warmth. So I developed a spiritual practice following Dr. Yvette Erasmus and a gratitude practice from Jim Mansky. And bring warmth to every interaction is my spiritual practice, which is part of, for me, NVC as a form of connection. And I'm kind of actually attached to that strategy. and then gratitude in every interaction. The final thing is when I'm triggered, just like what Rodger says, I think about what is the should not, and I think about what is yours and what is mine. And I'm pretty confident it's always you, but I'm also trying to own and be accountable for what's mine. So I go through that as part of my self-empathy process. I wonder if the work will ever be done. I wonder if there'll ever be a time when I visit my parents and I won't be triggered. I wonder if there's ever a time I'll be at work talking to a sales guy and I won't be triggered. I do find it delightful that my son lives with me now, and even when he gets angry at me, I just am laughing inside because I'm so happy he's here. And I really know that his reaction is about him. Occasionally it's about me, but usually it's about him. And so I can see where it's possible. So it gives me a little bit of hope for the long term. Do I get an A for that? Do I get an A for that response? Can you give me a good grade for that? Full marks? What do you think?
Rodger decides.
I enjoyed it, Eric. I don't know what the comments are saying, though.
Pallavi says she so resonates with about, the comment you made about getting triggered by your parents. And she wonders about it too. The question of, will there ever be a day when I'm not triggered by them? And I also noticed when you said that Rodger was shaking his head left to right when you made that comment, Eric. But
yeah,
what I'm also getting from what both of you are sharing is, first, NVC can be very, very powerful when we bring it in as an internal practice rather than, oh, here's something I can use to talk to people differently. And the second thing is maybe it's a constant evolution, that there will be things and people and places that do end up triggering us, and we're just going to keep working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much work to do, though. There's so much work to do, for me at least.
It's an ongoing journey. So the earlier in life that we begin this path, the quicker we are able to absorb it and get it. And Marshall's example, we used to say that, the kids get it the fastest, okay? And just depending on how old you are when you start on the path, and he says kind of a guideline might be like, if you were 15 years old, well, then it'll be like about 15 years for you to really integrate it. 20, it's going to be 20 years. But by the time age 35, he says, it's just going to be your path for the rest of your life, okay? I was 50. I was 50 when I started, okay? 25 years ago. And I'm still on the path, and I'm enjoying the journey. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing and sharing NVC with others and supporting others and having more connection with themselves and each other. To be able to contribute like that, I'm just blessed that I've got to be in this role and have this opportunity. Yeah, I'm a lucky bugger. My second wife, she was from Canada, and I think she just said I was a bugger. Yeah. Versus lucky bugger. Yeah.
Hey, I want to just welcome a few people. I think I see Natalie. I think she's here, and Claudia from Colombia. Lisa Marie. I don't know where she's from. Roanne, and let's see. It looks like Kalina, Leanne from the East Coast. Beck from Australia. Welcome, my friends Beck and Leanne, and Oilam. Denise and Evelyn and Kalina, and there's Systemica. There's so many people. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. And Azadison says, NVC is such a gift. It's been a key in helping me in my most difficult times. And we have a question here from Patrick, who says, what other practices, ancient or modern, are similar to NVC?
For me, one of my favorites that ancient and similar to NVC, I think parallel with NVC, is the Hawaiian prayer of Ho'oponopono. And there's 4 pieces to it, and it's I'm sorry, I love you, thank you, forgive me. And I just use that like a mantra, and I'm speaking to source when I say it, and it supports me. And it's like when nothing else works, and I don't know what else to do. I bring out that one, and I bring out gratitude, yeah, and breathing in present moment is just like that's my anchor to the body, and present moment is breathing. And I know we've all heard it many times, but the only time we ever take a breath is present moment. Never take one in the past, we'll never take one in the future. It's all about now, yeah. And so breathing, Ho'oponopono, and gratitude. Those are in addition to NVC.
Eric?
Yeah, I think, I think one of the things that I love about what you said earlier was that Marshall sort of discovered NVC. For me, all modalities are based on ancient things, and we simply frame them or reframe them or bring our learning. So I would even go so far as every version of NVC, every modality sits in a person differently. So for me, everything kind of comes from that. But I think what I really want to do is acknowledge how much of it comes from the past and all of the practices of now, and that NVC is a modality for me that encompasses so many things. And so, when I study modern stuff, I study the work of Dr. Terence Real, integral theory. What am I forgetting? The one with the levels.
Spiral dynamics.
Spiral dynamics and internal family systems. Of course, I think that Sarah Payton's work on resonance is amazing. I'm looking forward to learning from David Weinstock and John Kenyon in the future. Byron Katie's work is fascinating to me. I think all the modalities have so much in common with each other, and they share the same heritage. And for me, I find that each time I enter a modality, I can see things a little differently, which is kind of one of the benefits, actually. I'm going to plug the thing here, is that when you come to the conference, whether it's the conference or the International Intensive Training, you get to see a fresh view with trainers that have seasoned trainers like Rodger and Mary and Roxanne, Dr. Roxy Manning, seasoned trainers that have these, just so sharp. And then the new trainers, which bring in their flavors and their background. And for me, it really refreshes my understanding and gives me another view, because every moment for me I'm a different person. So when it comes to me in that moment, that's what it is. Oh, I wanted to go back to a question you asked before. Am I allowed to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. One of my practices for mindfulness now is people actually come to me, and I work with usually between 1 and 3 people at one time individually, and they leave me voice messages. So I usually spend about an hour listening to and responding to voice messages on WhatsApp. And through their sharing, I'm able to look into myself and get a deeper understanding of what's coming up for me. So I reflect what they're saying. I do my self-empathy. I do empathy for them, and then I share my honest expression. So I found that has deepened my own experience every day. So I'm spending about an hour a day, really, doing this work. And then if I'm lucky, I get to spend a half hour or 20 minutes with someone like Rodger or Ranjit, someone actually talking to them live. That only happens probably 2 or 3 times a week. But that particular practice of doing an empathy change asynchronously without being live, it's not journaling, but I love it because I get to do so much learning and um, investigation. I still think it's not enough, but it is amazing to have those connections. And I sleep better at night if I have those moments. So I thought I'd just share that.
Gary, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You and I are going to be the opening act along with on Friday night, the first night of the conference.
Yeah.
And you and I, and who's going to be up there with us? I've forgotten. But you'll be doing a kind of an overview basics of intro piece to nonviolent community, and I highly recommend it. And I'll be doing a piece on transforming limiting beliefs, where I combine the work of Byron Katie, Robert Gonzalez, who's not with us anyway, but in addition to what I do is I combine NVC with Byron Katie's process called the work, and throw in some law of attraction. But it's a truly deep work and a transformative process, and it's pretty simple too to understand and to grok. And you'll go home with a tool that you'll have to be able to work with limiting beliefs as you're doing your inner work and you run into them. You have a tool to work with them. Yeah. So I'm excited about that, in addition to all the other trainers that will be there.
Yeah.
I'm complete.
Yeah, I love that session that you do. You make it fun and interesting, and it can have a lot of depth. So I think your session is for people who are sort of have some foundational stuff and are ready to do a little more and have a vocabulary of needs and feelings. And for my session is probably more for the beginners who want just a fresh view of needs and a practice around needs. So yeah, thanks for plugging me and
That's for sure, Eric. And then we'll also during one of the lunch times, we're going to hold a session on anybody who's interested in certification. We'll meet with those folks. Another big plus for the conference is because you're getting to meet all these people. And one of the daily practice, not what doesn't necessarily daily, but practices that I know we all highly recommend, and that's having an empathy buddy or an NVC practice partner. Okay, so I have several sessions every week, and I've had empathy buddies, the same ones for decades, and they are the people on the planet who know me the best and support me in doing the inner work. And when I don't know what else to do other than just scream, that's somebody who can listen. And so at the conference, we'll have an empathy buddy sign up list, and anybody can put their name on it. And then if you want an empathy buddy, you put your name on there, and then you look at who else is there, and is there somebody you want to reach out to. It's a great resource to build your MVC community. Complete.
Yeah, that's true. So I thought I might as well plug the community room then too. So there'll be a community room. I can't remember actually when it'll be running, but I think it'll be running the whole time. And then we'll have an after party as well. So people will have empathy assistants in there. So if you want to come and get empathy and do an empathy exchange, like an empathy buddy, we'll have some people who are seasoned in being empathy buddies. They've been doing empathy for a while. And some of the people who are here, I don't know if I want to mention their names, have done this a lot. So you get to meet some of the people that are actually watching and ask for empathy for something. You can say, this thing happened with my mom, with my kid, with my boss, and get 10, 15 minutes of empathy, which is unusual, right? Who listens to me for 15 minutes straight, other than all of you listening right now? Who's going to listen to me for 15 minutes straight without leaving? You get to do that. You can come into the community room, you can get empathy, or you can just hang out with a bunch of people who are at the conference and just get to meet people. And I've been so fortunate with all these conferences that the Academy has done, and also with Rodger, and with the conference. I've met so many people. I feel like I have friends all over the world. So you get empathy, you get to meet people, you get just to hang out. There's some people who just come in and they just listen too. So I love the community room. It's just so funny. That first year we did it, Rodger, it was just me and Dan, and we didn't plan ahead. It was just him and I, and we thought, we got to be in the lobby the whole time. So we were for like 72 hours. We were on all the time, and like if he wasn't napping, then I was napping. But this year, again, we have some amazing people helping us out. Martha Suarez is helping us get it running. We're going to have dozens of volunteers. We hope that you'll join us. Wow, we have more people joining still. That's amazing. So community room, another feature to try out while you're there. Don't forget.
What I like about the community room is that, it kind of gives me the spaces that I really enjoy at a conference we'd be attending I want to say in real life, physically, where, there's so many conversations that happen at tea time, at lunchtime, and I've made connections that I cherish till today. And the community room can give you a chance to do that in a Zoom conference. So now that we're speaking about the NVC conference, I want to say a little bit about the conference to those who are watching. And then we still have a question that I want to get to before we close this conversation. So the NVC Conference 2024, Rodger, of course, was the initiator of this conference in its earlier form, which happened physically in person, and now it's online, which means people across the world, no matter where you are, you can attend it. The conference will run from the 26th to the 28th of January, and there will be 13 trainers from different parts of the world, bringing you 18 sessions on different topics, and of course, there will be a community room that will where you can just hang out or ask for empathy or seek support of any form that you like. If you'd like to register for the NVC conference, click on the link in our bio and we have a special discount for you. You can use the code socialmedia20 to get 20% off the tickets. I want to ask you, Rodger and Eric, what are you most looking forward to with this conference?
What I most look forward to, I think, is the connection with so many people, connection with other trainers, connections with participants, introducing NVC to people for the first time, the chance to just really be immersed in community. Yeah, complete.
Yeah, and I'm really excited and honored, honestly, to be able to teach on that opening night. I just love teaching this first module, and I'm really looking forward, honestly, to the community room. I love just hanging out with NVC people. I'm sorry, I won't go to any sessions except for the certificate. I hope I can go to the certification one with you, Roger, to help people learn about certification. But I'm just going to hang out in the community room and just try to make as many connections worldwide as I can. And I just love that community room and hanging out with people. And yeah, so I'm hoping I'll get to hang out with you, Ranjitha, there, and you, Rodger, as well, in the community room. And all of you who are watching, it'd be exciting to spend some time with you as well. So please join us.
Yeah. So join us for the NVC conference. It's between the 26th and the 28th of January. And if you're in a time zone that doesn't make it convenient for you to attend all the sessions, you'll be receiving recordings of the sessions anyway. So you can join us for the conference no matter where you are in the world. And again, the social media code, the social media 20 is a code that will give you 20% off. I'll also put it in the description of this video so that if you're watching it later, you can use the code to get your ticket at a discount. One last question from Kalina Kairi. And the question is, what are the minimum trainings that are necessary to get started bringing NVC out to my community here in Salt Lake City? Is there a time requirement?
I don't think so, no. You can start sharing NVC with others in your community now, and you share your experience and your knowledge, okay? So, the better prepared you are, the more you know, the more work you've done on yourself, I think will add depth and meaning to what you bring. But to be able to go out there and share NVC with others, there's no hard rule about that. You just simply CNVC, the Center for Nonviolent Communication, asks that you do so and acknowledge Marshall, acknowledge CNVC. Don't call yourself a certified trainer, but I think that stuff is obvious. but definitely just go out there and share it. So I think after you've read the book and done a training or two, and there's so much available on the Academy, that just start sharing your experience. What's it the difference that it's made for you? How have you benefited? Yeah, and that's what people want to hear. They want to hear your stories. Like what's it been like for you? Yeah, complete.
Yeah, I think the best way to start training, to be honest, what was the name of our person asking that?
Kalina.
Kalina Kyrie. Yeah.
Elena, the best way to start teaching is to steal. You should steal other people's work. So you start with Marshall's book, probably the easiest thing. Get a copy. If you have to, get a copy or get some copies from Puddle Dancer Press. There'll probably be a sale coming up here in March, but get a few copies and just do one chapter at a time. You could even read it out loud. I've been to places where they just read the book out loud and they talk about it. It's probably the easiest way to do it. So that's one way to steal. The other way is to get some grok cards. Grok cards, they have fun stuff to do, real easy. You can get them for, I think, $30 or less now for a pack, and they've got fun activities right in there. The third way would be to steal. So what I mean by steal is come to the NVC conference. We will have the handouts available for you to use because you attended the conference. And I don't really mean steal. You're supposed to ask for permission, but you have my permission to steal my stuff. And you can use that material as a guide for stuff that you want to do. So you would just hopefully enjoy, take the slides, run through the slides and use those practices. You can use empathy poker. Anyway, so use the book, use grok cards, and then steal slides. Well, you're supposed to ask for permission. I'm going to give you permission to use all my stuff from our event. That's one of the great things about NVC Academy is all the files are going to be there for you. The recordings will be there. You could even, this is what you can do. This is what it is. You sign up, you get the videos, and you get a study group together. You watch the videos together, and then you do the exercises in your group. And it's a 2-hour activity, and you're done. So that could be a way you do it. And all you need to do is provide snacks. And you don't even have to provide snacks. You can ask people to bring them for you. I like gluten-free chocolate chip cookies, just so you know. Or, you could fly me to Salt Lake City, too, and give me cookies. I guess that would be it. Okay, I'm done.
You can also
there's a strategy.
start a practice group. Start a practice group in your own community. And there's a book written just for doing that, the NVC workbook that's designed to go chapter by chapter with Marshall's book, with exercises and activities for week by week. It's a 12 session book where you can, and if you're meeting weekly, you got 12 weeks, and then you repeat it and you do it again. There's so many resources out there now between Academy and then a ton of stuff on YouTube, and it's just there's a ton of resources available.
And if I remember correctly, Jim Mansky has a handout that's freely available on the internet about how to start and structure your practice group. And the NVC Academy also has some resources on how you can keep a practice group running. So that might be something that's helpful for you, Kalina. And Kalina says nice and shares some smiles with us in response to the answers.
You can go to my website, chooseconnection.com. All my handouts are free. With the basics and then many fundamental NVC practices like hearing no, saying no, working with anger. Those handouts are available as free downloads on my website, and please use them. And most of them are there in both English and in Spanish.
Wow. Okay, last words for today before we close. Anything you want to share with our viewers?
Oh, yeah, what I would say is thank you to you, Rajenta, for organizing this and supporting me in just getting through the technology to get here. I needed help, and you got me here, so thank you. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. I'm still learning. I couldn't see the the list of who all was here, but I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to share with you like this. Thank you. And thank you, Eric, for just showing up and being you.
I appreciate that. That's exactly why I love NVC, is for some reason people accept, give, and I get acceptance and belonging somehow in these NVC events, despite who I am. That's a joke. So, you know what? I'm excited. I hope you all who are watching this video choose to register and come to this event. And I hope that you'll come to our intro events, either either Rodger's, Healing Old Pain. I think that's what it is. Transforming Limiting Beliefs. Transforming Limiting Beliefs.
Right.
Transforming Limiting Beliefs on Friday night, that first Friday night. And to my intro on needs, if you want something there. Oh, thanks, Laura. And say hi to Jeff for me. I saw Jeff joined as well. Thank you. And come join us in the community room for sure. I will be there most of the time. And if I'm not there, tell them to call me and I will be there.
Unless you have a session running.
Unless I have a session running. And remember, you're coming to my session on Friday night, so you can ask me questions and you can steal everything. Remember, steal everything from Eric. Welcome. Well, I hope that you come. Thank you, Ranjitha, for all you've done. I said my gratitude at the beginning. I so appreciate you, Ranjitha. You are such a gift to me and the Academy. And I'd like to thank Mary and Mark at the Academy and all the team there for everything they do to us, and Robin O'Brien, of course. What an amazing group. I'm so grateful for the Academy and all the work that you do.
And thank you both for being up for this adventure, getting on an Instagram Live and having this conversation. I know it's not something many of us are familiar with, so thank you for your willingness to play with me. And to those of you who are watching, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, the conference begins on the 26th of January. There's more information in the link in our bio, so check that out. And if you need any more information, send us a direct message and we'll help you out. That's it for now. So good night to both of you. And I'm going to close this chat now. Thank you.
Good night, Ranjitha. Good night, Rodger.
Good night. Bye-bye.